Hey, it's Cousin Vinny with the Cousin Vinny Network here today, bringing you another topic of interest and excitement. I think we'll see. Hang on here just a moment. Remove. Okay, that one's gone. I lost one of my links. That's okay. We're okay. We're all right. It's technology, and I'm still getting a grasp of it. Again, anyway, this is Cousin Vinny with the Cousin Vinny Network. I'm doing a little flip today. I'm going to be talking about what I've been doing since 1980. And there's been some changes made to what's been going on. Some of you may know or may not know that I'm a real estate broker, and I have been since 1980, and a real estate instructor in real estate school since 1980. And that's where Florida Real Estate University comes in. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I got my start in real estate back in 1974 as a sales associate. And the real estate education at the time was really, how do I say it? Not the best. It was okay, but it could have been better. And over time, the education has gotten better. And I got to say that, oops, I won't get any feedback there. Sorry about that. When you're doing one-man show here, sometimes it gets a little complicated with the engineering and still learning a lot of it. Anyway, I got started here in Florida in Crystal River as a sales associate. And as I was going through some boxes of crap, like we all saved stuff from years ago, I actually found, and I was going to bring it in today, I forgot to, my original, that's terrible. Sorry. Got to make another checklist of things to turn off before you go on the air. I'm just going to power that off. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's life and things happen. So getting started back in 1974, 75, education was kind of on the light side, not very sophisticated, not very complicated. There was a textbook that you bought. And then I went to the community college in Ocala and took the course from an instructor there who basically read the textbook. There was really no preparation to speak of as far as the education was concerned. You basically read the book. Hopefully you got the information and you went and took the state exam. Went to go take the sales associate state exam at the time and didn't know there was a prep course for the state exam. And, sat there and took the state exam and failed it. And as I was coming out, I'm going, geez, I don't remember any of this stuff. It just, none of it registered with me. And I'm going, geez, what am I missing? Well, as I was leaving the exam center in Orlando, someone said, hey, that cram review was really great. I saw a lot of information there that they covered. Not the questions, but just the information. I'm going, what exam review? So I signed up for it and went and took the review. And I felt pretty good coming out of it as knowing the content of the material that was covered in the book. The problem was that the way the book was structured, it was a textbook. It wasn't a textbook, it was a reading book. It wasn't even a textbook. So I failed it again because I was not totally completely prepared for something I'm going to talk about. It's terminology. Yes, and I talk about this every time someone starts a new class with me. You're going into a new profession, and you need to understand terms, what these words mean. And how do they relate? And a lot of people don't get that when they take the course. And that's why you have a 40% pass rate at the state exam. They get through the material, they clip through it real quick, wanting to get in there as fast as they can, go in and take the state exam and fail. There's a 40% pass rate because, again, it's the vocabulary. You're learning all new words to add to your portfolio of knowledge. So the third time through, I actually sat in a review class that weekend, and a lot of it clicked and finally passed it, got my sales associate license, put my license active with a local real estate broker, put in my time, a couple of years under a broker, and then decided to get my broker's license. And back again. Back then, it was a whole different process. The courses that we have today, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, weren't structured like this, 20, 30 years ago. You went in, and I took my broker's pre-license course, and it was at the University of Florida. And I had three different textbooks with three different instructors, and they lectured. Again, not knowing what the material was about, it was all lecture. And it was things that didn't really relate to what I thought was real estate related. So I had a hard time with that course, didn't do really well with it, and I bailed out of it at the end. And I found out about an accelerated broker pre-license course, the broker pre-license, which I offer, which is like the sales associate pre-license, which I offer for FloridaRealEstateUniversity.com. So sat in a class for a week, 7 days straight, from 8:30 to 5:30 every day. And boy, the instructor hammered hard on the terminology, the definitions, the adaptation of the words into English so that you could understand what they were talking about. So I went through the course, passed it, and then prepped for the state exam. Didn't do so good on the first time. Second time, not so good. But the third time I got through it. And again, it was terminology. I was not trained in the terminology of real estate. And that's what I'm trying to harp on here. When you're thinking about starting a new career in anything, you're accumulating knowledge that you didn't have before. And the biggest thing I can say is terms. The first night of any class that I teach in class in the past, I say in the back of the book is a glossary. Take that glossary, take some index cards, write that word on the front, and then write out the term on the back. And people go, well, that seems like a waste. I said, well, you know what? If you write it, you will read it, you will remember it. And lo and behold, this last year, Dearborn, who's my publisher that I use for all my materials for the last 35 plus years, finally took the hint. And I've been sending them a note. Hey, why don't you provide index cards in the back of a book? So they didn't do it in the pre-license course material. They did it in the exam prep book, which is still good. So I tell people, if you're taking any of the courses from any of the schools, and I'm going to talk about the other schools in a moment, you should buy both texts. The pre-licensed sales associate textbook, which is mandatory to get through the material. And if you're doing it online without a textbook, it's going to make your eyes bleed. The material there is not as friendly as you could imagine. It's dry. It's unexciting. I tell people, spend the money, buy the book, so that as you're going through the material, you can highlight points of interest. And I'm going to give you a little tip. No one knows the questions to the final state exam. If some school online is telling you they know the questions and they have, they're full of it, okay? Nobody knows what the questions are. They take from a test bank and they rotate them, and there's no way of knowing what the questions are going to be. On the state syllabus, you're going to see, and I'm going to try to put this in here without messing myself up. There's my website. In my website at FloridaRealEstateUniversity.com or FREU.com, there's a section in there for getting licensed. Now, when you go into that section of getting licensed, it'll say sales associate or broker. At the bottom of that little paragraph that says sales associate, it says, hey, would you like the candidate's workbook from the state of Florida? Well, I suggest you take that and download it, because in that candidate's booklet, is a breakdown of all the chapters that correspond with the textbook. And they tell you the number of questions that come out of that particular chapter. They don't tell you the question itself. They say in chapter 1, there's going to be 6 questions. In chapter 2, there's going to be 2 questions. In chapter 3, there's going to be 4 questions, so that you can evaluate each chapter as to how heavy they weigh it on your final exam. So that when you're studying, you're not spending hours on a chapter that has 1 question. Okay? It's just, they give you the outline because they want you to understand that this is important stuff, and we want you to know that stuff. So I would say that is one tool that my students, when I have someone enroll, I have them go to it, download it, have it with your materials. Now, I do things a little bit differently than some of the other schools, and you got to understand, Florida Real Estate University is affiliated with RE Campus, which is Dearborn Publications. Dearborn does probably 80-90% of all the real estate schools in Florida. Now, there are some onlines, got some allergies going today. there are some schools online that offers classes for $79. 79 bucks. What do you think you're going to get for $79? Nothing. And if they have a dozen schools that they're promoting from different states, if you've got a question and you need to know something about a particular topic in a particular chapter, and you call that particular school that has multiple states that sold it to you for $79, good luck getting a straight answer. If you're going to, gosh, I thought I turned off my phone. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Power off. Oh, well, you know, today's the beginning of a new day. It's October 1st. We're going to do this every Thursday at 2 p.m., and I've got a couple of other things I'm going to throw in there. But back to the help. Again, Dearborn provides school education for pretty much most of the schools in Florida. There's a few independents that do their own material, but they base it on the state syllabus. And I've been using this material for 35 plus years. And my takeaway is that you want to be able to pick up the phone and call someone and get an answer, or at least some guidance. And I'm going to tell you that if you dial the 888-738-7381, you will get me, and I'll talk about the others in a moment. So, you can go get the bargain basement class for $79, or you can pay mine for $249. And here's what you get for that. You get instructors on call, 9 to 9, 7 days a week. If I don't answer, I've just brought on 2 new instructors who will be available. If I don't answer, one of them will pick up. They'll be able to answer your questions and help you through it. Both of them I've known personally, and they're great real estate instructors in the Tampa Bay area. We cover the entire state now because of the internet. Before, we were just teaching in Tampa Bay. Now we're going statewide and nationwide. We can do this anywhere in the country. So, if you're looking for the bargain basement, that's what you're going to get, bargain basement. If you zip through the material and you do it in 30 hours, I'm going to guarantee you will fail the state exam. If you don't take the time to learn the definitions. Now, if you learn the definitions, you can get through it in 30 hours. That's great. But don't think you're going to be able to zip through it and pass the state exam the first time. There's more to it. So that's the pre-license for the sales, and it's applicable to the brokers. If you go on to become a broker and get your broker's license, it's the same thing. You've got a 72-hour course for the brokers. We do have the state syllabus outlined for that particular course. Also, the state provides it. It's not a mystery. It's not a secret. They post it on their website, and I've got links on it. So that if you go in and register for the pre-licensed sales or the pre-licensed sales or pre-licensed brokers, you can get that candidate's outline. And it's free. It's there. There's no cost, no obligation. If you want to go use it, go use it. If you're using some other school, go ahead and use it. It's available to you. It's a service that I provide. Again, I'm not going to begrudge anybody who's trying to save some money. I'm going to tell you from the start to finish, taking any course through Florida Real Estate University, the pre-license course, your application fees, your fingerprinting fees, your testing fees, your licensing fees, you're at about $500. The broker is about $600. I don't know where else you can go for $500 to $600 and start a new career. I don't. You can't go to cosmetology. You can't go to bar school. You can't even do a bartending class for that cheap, for that kind of money. So, you get what you pay for. Again, I will berate some of those schools out there that do in multiple states, and you try to get help. Help is the big thing. If you need assistance, you can call the 888-738-7381. And I said, I'm on call. I answer my phones 7 days a week. And now having 2 other instructors who I'm going to introduce over the next couple of weeks, next Thursday and the Thursday after, we're going to have them on. You'll get to know and meet who they are. And they'll be there to assist you. I know them personally. I've actually substituted for them in some other real estate classes when I was working with another school for a temporary period there through transition times. And we became friends. And I like working with people who are like-minded and they feel the same way I do about, your educational possibilities. And you see scrolling on the screen there is my school website, Florida Real Estate University. The on-demand is what is going on right now. It's at your leisure. You have access to it 24/7. As far as classroom, right now, classrooms are not highly popular because of Corona. At some point in the future, we will probably readdress it again. I'm not 100% sure if we'll do the pre-license that way. We may do the exam prep, a 2-day exam, slam bam weekend cram, where you come in on a Saturday and Sunday and we prep you for the state exam, hopefully that you've been through our system and we've helped you through the process of becoming educated. So that is coming, I think, will be the first thing that we offer is the exam prep. We'll do it on a live stream with individuals to start with. If we get a class of 8 or 10 or something like that, we'll do a private live stream for the exam prep so that we'll get you ready for that state exam. Then the course after that will be the post-education, so that once you become licensed here in Florida, within that first renewal period of 18 months, you've got to take post-education, which is a 45-hour sales associate course, or the broker's 60-hour post-education course. So we've been discussing how we want to do that one. Do we want to do a live one, or we want to do in classroom? So that is coming probably not until January. But the exam prep, we're going to probably institute that one in the next 30, 60 days. In the meantime, over the next 30, 60 days, again, we're making many transitions because a lot of things have happened in the last 6, 8 months with all of us around the state. We're transitioning to doing podcasting, which is what I do for the Crystal River Mall, which I do for my real estate school, which I do for my Cousin Vinny Network. So we're going to start incorporating podcasts of the material from each of the courses in a self-contained podcast for the principles and practices in law sales associate course. There'll be a list of podcasts in there. And what we're going to do with that is basically take the terms in the back of the book and turn them into individual podcasts. We're going to cover one subject, one topic at a time, 3 to 5 minutes, give you the, what that word is, its clear definition, and how it relates to you in the exam world and the real world. So we're going to provide that as an added free bonus for signing up for our courses. In the meantime, until those podcasts are operational in the next 60 days or so, you can call us. You can call me at 888-738-7381. And I'll guide you through any questions you might have. And I've had students who have done that with me, and I have no problem, sitting there and the phone and going through with these things for you. It's just part of the process. So that's the sales associate. We're going to do the same thing with the broker's pre-license course. You take the pre-license course. The terms are pretty much the same. There's a few new ones in there because of the pre-license broker course. There's more management and supervision and office management. So there's a few more things in there that you don't get in the sales associate pre-license or post-licensing. Again, there are cheap schools out there. Believe me, there are schools out there, like I said, you can take this course for $49, $59, $69. Good luck. I've had people who I've talked to and helped them through, and they say, I found this one out. Okay, if you need help, just give me a call, because it's going to happen. As far as what we're going to do also with the school, as we build our database of vendors, we're going to start introducing you to the different services of real estate. So now you got a license. What do I do? Well, you've got a lot of different things that take place from the time you start working with a seller till the day you go to a closing. And people, I guess, misperceive or misconceive of what all the parts are. So we're going to break it down into two pieces. We're going to break it down to the sales associate side of the transaction and the consumer side of the transaction. So, for instance, we're going to have maybe a termite company. And termite inspections are pretty much standardized across the entire state of Florida. and there's standard forms they all use. We're going to do a podcast and a video cast, probably mostly podcasting, but maybe some video also, where we're going to talk about it from the real estate standpoint. What does a real estate agent need to know about termite inspections? What are the things that are most important for your client, the buyer, if that's your client? Then from the consumer side, what does this termite inspection mean to me as the home buyer, as the home seller? So we're going to have the experts on here explaining those things so that if someone poses a question to you, you can say, you know what, I'm not the total expert to this, but here's a podcast you can go listen to from an expert and get the information. And then if you want, you could put it on your website, link to it, and you'll get it right from a source. It won't be me, it'll be the professionals. We'll do the same thing with the home inspector, the title insurance, the lenders, the surveyors. I mean, there's a myriad of different services out there that real estate agents provide and perform in conjunction to the transaction. And we can't be experts in everything. And if you are telling people you are, I'm sorry, but you're full of it. And you know what? You're going to get to know me over these next few weeks. I don't hold back any punches. And when I see bullshit, I call it. I'm sorry, but that's just it. We're going to give you the people who know what they're talking about, who are licensed professionals in those fields, or who are credentialed in those fields. Same with lenders. There's a myriad of lenders out there. And, some of you have been in the real estate profession since the 1980s and the 90s, and you went through the scams of the 2000s. There was a lot of shady shit going on out there. Zero verification, just crazy loans. Okay, we're going to make sure that when you talk to someone, you can say, I'm not absolutely positively sure. Let me see if I can find a source. And go to the list of podcasts, and we'll have them listed by the categories of vendors. And we won't just have one lender. We'll have multiple lenders from around the state of Florida. So don't think it's just Tampa Bay based. It'll be statewide. And again, understand that most of this stuff is statewide. Now, Miami-Dade and that part of South Florida, they do things a little bit differently down there. It's a little squirrely, but we'll cover that also. What we want to be able to do is become a resource for you. So that, again, if you've got someone who has a question, you can say, you know what? Here's a link that you can go listen to this podcast. Videos are great, but people will listen to things that are, give them little snippets. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to keep them short. We're going to keep them sweet, 7-8 minutes. And understand that those people that are doing that are also providers, and they would like some business. I mean, in order for everyone to make some money, everyone's going to have to help each other. And I'm not going to be recommending any particular companies. If you don't like them, that's fine. If you can find someone else you feel like works better with you, then go do it. But at least you'll have the information to be able to talk confidently and say, look, here are your choices. And I used to hear this thing years and years ago. Oh, you got to give them 3 choices. No, you don't. There's no law that says you have to give them 3 choices. If you have a decent relationship with someone who's a professional, and understand, you can't get kickbacks. If they're paying you under the table, I don't want to hear it from you. That's illegal. Unless you're licensed in that profession to receive fees, you shouldn't be getting anything. You're just doing it because from the past, their experience level is that they are not deceptive and dishonest. They will do their job according to what the law says. And that's all we're going to provide, is what we feel that the information that you're getting is of use to you and to the consumers out there. If you want to be on any of our podcasts as an individual agent, want to talk about your marketplace, we're going to set up a kind of a meeting place, but kind of leave it generically open. But if you've got lenders or vendors that you want to recommend to us, we would love to have them on. We'll do a podcast with them. And then you can make use of it as a link on your website as a provider of services to you. What you want to be able to do is be that professional that they go to. What we want to do is give you enough data and information and education so that when people think about getting a piece of property or buying a piece of property or selling a piece of property, you can say, hey, look, here are some things you might want to concern yourself with or consider before you do all this. Here's some podcast information. You would become the resource. Now, you don't have to do, like I said, you don't have to do all this work. We're putting all this together. This is a major undertaking. I know pretty much all the biggest real estate schools in Florida. I know the owners. I've known them for years. We all see each other at our real estate instructors seminars every 2 years, which now the state's done away with. We go to do stupid things, just crazy. Anyway, we're going to make it available statewide, so it doesn't make a difference what part of the state you are in. We can do a call-in podcast. No big deal. I am set up technologically to handle all of that. We can do that effectively and make it a good broadcast. And if you want to be a participant in that, that's fine. I would like to keep it, neutral, so that vendor can address it to other agents, so that if multiple agents use the same vendor, they can all use the same thing. But if you want to do a special with a particular vendor that you like, we'll possibly do that for you. There may be a small fee, but it won't be, tremendous if you wanted to do a personal one. But individual vendors, we'd like to have them on the site. We want to become a resource. And again, knowing all the other schools in Florida like I do, everyone basically, again, sells the same material. All of our material comes from Dearborn. There's a few outliers out there that do their own thing. But I've been using Dearborn for years and been very successful with it. As you can see on the scroller, some information scrolling across there, and then Florida Real Estate University has a shorter URL. I know it's a real long one, so you got freu.com. If you click the freu.com, when you go to it, you should see that page comes up, and you see the scroller crawling across. I got to add the podcast scroller in there. And you can just go to whatever topic it is that you're looking for. If there's something, in particular that I've missed or think we should have, we'll be happy to add it to it. Okay, so let me talk about what's coming. I have brought on 2 instructors that we're going to be introducing starting next week. This will become a regular Thursday at 2. Real estate education, real estate information about the state of Florida. It won't only be just real estate education. It will be about real estate in general around the state. We'll have topics with other people from around the state. We'll bring in some interviews. We can do the live stream just like I'm doing here. I can bring in outsiders, and we can talk and discuss real estate around the state of Florida. There's a bunch of them out there, but they're all centric around their own companies. I want this to be a user-friendly, open environment where people can get information and not feel like they're obligated to do anything with anybody in particular. So again, when you go to the school site, you'll see the scroller. It'll give you some choices at the top to get licensed, to renew your license, the podcasting, and all of those pieces are all built into the school site. All right, again, 2 instructors coming up. If you are a real estate instructor and are interested in participating, we're looking to hire some other instructors. Again, we're trying to still kind of get through this whole Corona thing as to what level of classes we're going to have. Whether we're going to do in class or not, and we're probably going to wait until after the first year to make that decision because again, there's just too many ifs out there. I would say that if you're in the queue right now and you've passed the course, the pre-license course, in the queue to take the state exam, and you were told that you won't be able to take it till January, my suggestion to you is that you call the testing center, like on a Tuesday, and just say, what's the next available test and where is it being given? If you don't mind driving a little bit, you might get in sooner. I had a student who had the same situation. He took the pre-license course, got his application in, fingerprints, everything done. He was approved. He passed the end of course. He called. He said, February next year. He goes, whoa, I'm going to forget everything. So he started calling on a weekly basis. And within 2 weeks, he ended up with taking the test in St. Petersburg a month plus ago. So don't let that scare you. You're going to have to be persistent because, again, The testing centers are limited because they're doing all kinds of testings for different agencies. It's not just real estate. So if you're dogged on it and keep on it and keep calling, you should get a seat at the table. Want to know, too, at some point, if you'll make comments, would you be interested in doing an on-demand course where you do it at your own pace, and we offer summary videos, live summary videos, where you can go into a small room, a small chat room of maybe 8 or 10 people, and we have discussions about materials in certain chapters, and we'll cover the book like we would have done in class, but abbreviated. We're not going to spend a whole 4 hours, but we'll do an abbreviated, condensed version of that particular chapter. If you've already read it and done some of it online and are not too sure before you take the exams, you may want to get refreshed, or maybe you want to listen to the information first and have discussion and then go take it. So that is one of the things we're going to be offering. There'll be a little bit of a premium on it. It won't be outrageous. It'll be a monthly subscription where you pay X dollars a month and you have unlimited access to it. It'll be a live session so that you can ask questions of the instructor. So it's not a tape. It will be recorded, and it'll be available for a period of time, once you sign up for it, so that if you're taking the course is now only run 6 months. Dearborn has changed all of that. So this will probably run the same time frame as the Dearborn is, so that if you decided you wanted to do the one-on-one or the group chat and you log into it, it'll be available for that 6-month period or 3-month period for a minimal, monthly fee so that you can have access. And it'll be recorded so that if you did watch it live and you wanted to go back later and watch it again, you'll be able to access it and review it. But it'll only be for those who pay for it. It's not going to be a freebie. We're not going to advertise it out there. The podcast will be free, but the private chats where we go in depth into the material, helping you answer your questions, there'll be a little bit of a premium for that. It's not going to be outrageous, but it'll be a few bucks because, the instructors are going to be online with you live so that you can ask those questions. Well, that's a lot to talk about. Again, I hope that you are doing well. I understand we're still going through this whole Corona thing. Things have gotten better here in Florida now that a lot of the things have been lifted. I thought I killed it. Jeez. Anyway, I thought, that, things have been lifted. Things are going to get a little bit better. And we're in a transition. But I'm going to tell you, real estate in Florida has been doing well, and it will continue to do well. As long as our state is sovereign, which it is, and people love coming here, you're going to sell real estate. I mean, we've not had any really down times since I've been doing this since 1974. Yeah, we've had some crazy times, but look, you got a choice, Florida or Michigan, Florida or Ohio, Florida or Kansas. I mean, we got the beaches, we got the sun. Granted, not everyone wants to live here. People come here and leave. That's okay. We have a great economic base. So if there's anything else I can do for you, or if you have questions, you can hit me up on Facebook. These are being broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube. Or you can give me a call at 888-738-7381 or freu.com. Comments, suggestions, ideas, I'm open. We're changing the way real estate education has been provided and distributed before. Again, there are schools out there where you can do the on-demand, just like mine. It's Dearborn. The big difference is you got me. I don't know of any other schools in Florida that are doing this. If they are, good. I'm glad, because you need the help. Again, we're not going to be doing tapings. It won't be boring. It'll be live when we do any sessions with students. It'll be a live session where you can ask questions. So it will be part of the on-demand program. It won't be a live streaming class, which is mandatory that you sit for that time, or an in-class, which means you have to sit for that time. It'll be on demand at your leisure, and we're just going to walk you through the highlights of things that, here's the terms that you really need to know. Here's stuff that is very, very important for your success. Not only for the state exam and the school exam, but your real estate career. None of this stuff ends the day you get I hear people, well, I learned that in school. I don't need that anymore. Well, you know what? About 80% of it you're going to need. You're going to need it. So if we can be your source, if we can be a guide, a help to you, we would love the opportunity. Again, when you go online, you see Florida Real Estate University, you see that website, that picture, the FREU, you know you're there. Give me a call. I will be more than happy to assist you in any given time or place. Again, like next Thursday at 2 p.m., we're going to be introducing our first instructor. The following Tuesday, the second instructor. And then we've got some surprises after that coming about. Again, this is Cousin Vinny with the Cousin Vinny Network, but also Vinny DeRosa, licensed real estate broker, licensed real estate instructor, and licensed real estate school at Florida Real Estate University. And thank you for listening, and thank you for watching today.